Hello, and welcome back to season 3 of the 5 Foot Strong podcast. I am your host, Jessica Gerlock, and I am so excited to be back. We stopped in, I think our last episode came out in November. We are here. This episode will drop on January 22nd, 2025. I had a brain oops for a second. If this is your first episode ever listening, welcome to the 5 Foot Strong podcast. This is a safe space to talk about the importance of prioritizing our mental and physical health. I also like to have guests on, and we all have journeys of strength that I like to talk about because, as I say in our mantra, whether you are 5 feet tall like myself or 7 feet tall, we are all strong in our own unique and beautiful ways, and sometimes we need a little positivity in this crazy world we live in. So if this is your first ever time listening, welcome, and I hope you get inspired and motivated to maybe prioritize your health and live your best life. And if you are a returning listener, thank you so much for keeping up with the last 2 seasons. This is the first episode of season 3. We are starting off 2025 strong, and we are starting off 2025 5 foot strong. So let's do it. I want to talk a little bit before we get into anything. I want to talk to you a bit about kind of an off topic for this podcast, but you'll see why. But I want to talk about the fires that are going on in California right now. In June, I decided for my 32nd birthday that I wanted to do something to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. I wanted to do something that reminded me that life is too short. So I booked a trip to California. This is in June. And I decided to book a surf lesson in Malibu and on Surfrider Beach, which is a beautiful beach just near the Malibu Pier. And I had an awesome instructor, and I decided this was a trip I think I mentioned in this season 2, but I really got inspired to, life is too short, and you gotta, be positive, you gotta live life to the fullest. So I decided to book this surf lesson. And I was traveling solo. I was trying to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. I want to see what life has to offer. So I booked this surf lesson, and it was at 9 in the morning, I believe on a Tuesday in June. And I was staying in West Hollywood. So it was about a half an hour, 45-minute drive. But I was excited to do this drive because of the PCH. They always say, driving down the PCH, and which is the Pacific Coast Highway. But as I was driving down from West Hollywood towards Malibu, I was noticing these beautiful beach houses, and I was getting so inspired. I was like, one day maybe I could have a beach house. And I was driving down, and I was just fascinated by the real estate, and I was fascinated, talking to my instructor, talking to some of the surf locals that were there that morning. It was just such a beautiful community, and I really, it'll be a trip I'll never forget. That one morning, these surf locals, they have a different mentality of life, a different mindset. Which is sad now because those houses on the PCH are now burnt down. People lost their homes. And I'm not just talking about the rich and famous. I'm talking about regular people. I met these people that woke up every morning to go surf this Surfrider Beach, and some of their homes are now gone. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this today is because it's not just a fact that they lost their homes. A home can be built up, but their mental health now has been affected for years to come. And so it's not just PTSD, but think about losing everything. Think about all that. And, this podcast is about mental health and how we can prioritize our mental and physical health. Well, I really do believe if you don't have your health, you have nothing. So if you made it out of these fires, you got to be, first of all, grateful and blessed, number one. But the impact it's not just doing of losing a house or a community. The impact it's doing on your mental health. And this is the time that it's important to practice mental health and prioritize your mental health even more. Because trauma does something, not just for a couple years, but for many years to come. And we have to focus on trying to change that mindset. And listen, I'm just a Canadian who went out to Malibu and was really inspired and fascinated by the beauty and the community there. And I know that one day it will be built up again. So the mindset they already had was a very positive mindset. It was a live life to the fullest mindset. So I really hope that if we could take away anything, and if I could inspire you guys at all on the West Coast, is that try to stay strong mentally. Because if you don't have your health, you'll have nothing. And unfortunately, we're all dealt, whether you are in California with the wildfires, whether you are in Jasper here in Canada with the wildfires, whether you are, in the Carolinas with the hurricanes, we have to move forward. And if I can give you guys any tip of advice, is trying to change that mindset, is take one step at a time and move forward and stay positive and realize that this is all part of our journey. And it sounds so bizarre, but sometimes our it's not sometimes, it's always, our resilience is what makes us strong. So the residents of these wildfires that are losing their homes and everything, they're gonna be more resilient at the end of the day. Unfortunately, there is Mother Nature and there is other reasons that these fires and these natural disasters happen because of the world, of course. But all these people, I gone through a crazy snowstorm when I was in college, and the army had to come up, and it just makes you appreciate your loved ones. It makes you appreciate the simple things, and it makes you resilient at the end of the day. And I know sometimes it's hard to look at the positives in these situations, but that's what being strong and building strength mentally is all about, is resilience. It's what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, as Kelly Clarkson says. But trying to look at the positives, look at the the sun is up every day, and you got to be blessed and grateful that we are here. And houses can be rebuilt, but lives cannot be replaced. So I want to just start this first episode of the third season just by saying my heart is with all the people that is being affected by these wildfires. Please stay strong. And that is, being resilient and taking one step forward and being positive and being kind to others, because we're all going through something. Everybody in California is being affected in one way or another, and it might not be just physically, not just losing your home, but it might be you're losing your community. It might be, realizing that something just happened and we have to move forward. Figure out how we can make the future better, and stay resilient, stay strong. So I want to go from going into a little bit of that to talking about the new year. Unfortunately, we've gone off to a crazy start of the new year. But, everybody asks me, like, did you set resolutions for 2024 or 2025? And I always say no, because I get disappointed in myself. I never put, like, a resolution of, like, write a book or, like, create a company or create a podcast. But I set intentions, how I always want to level up, how I always want to do better than I did the following year, how I always want to challenge myself. Last year, it was get out of my comfort zone, going surfing, being uncomfortable, but, there was nothing like getting up on that surfboard and riding that wave. And I understand why people enjoy surfing so much. But for me as a Canadian, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But, once you catch that first wave, there's a sensation of you can do anything. And I kind of got that mindset from my trip to Malibu is, I can do anything. If I want to, I can do anything I want to do. So, I want to set intentions of, always be healthier. I can always adjust. Everybody has ways to, modify and be healthier in their habits of life. Whether it be working out more, whether it be sleeping more, whether it be eating better, whether it be drinking less, whatever it might be. I don't want to say, like, I'm going to, stop eating sugar. No. Because, at the end of the day, you're going to be disappointed at that. But if I say, I want to, get to a certain weight by a certain date, and have a SMART goal, which I have talked about in season 2, and that is really important for you to not be disappointed in making those resolutions. Because a lot of people, probably by this date, this January 22nd, a lot of people probably, if they have set like really hard, high expectation, kind of impossible goals, they're probably already given up. So I never do that because I never want to be disappointed. And I feel like that's the way to get forward is, that one step at a time. So my intentions are to, be better socially with my friends, In your 30s, it's hard to keep up, friendships. And so my intention is to, be better and be more social and not just focus on work and, be better for my family, be more for my family, my parents. My intention is to prioritize, the podcast a little bit more. I would like to have more guests. This is a side gig for me as I am a trainer as my full-time job. But, I really think that this platform reaches out to so many people further than a one-on-one training session can be. And, even if you make that one adjustment into your life to prioritize your health or, work out, or go on a walk, even as simple as that, or, make a better food choice. These goals don't have to be big, and really small goals is exactly what it should be, is where you start, because then you don't get disappointed. If you give yourself an unreasonable goal of, something that is just almost impossible, then you're just going to get disappointed, and it's really not worth it. So small, step by step by step. Don't try to miss a few steps, because it's important to, I've kept up my weight loss journey for, I think this year is going to be 11 years. And I've told this in the first episode ever, is like, I never did a major, not eat any of my favorite foods, not, I never said, like, I'm going to cut out all sugar. I never said, I'm going to cut out, I like sushi. I never said any of that. I just said, like, I made small changes to my eating. I said no eating after 8 o'clock. I said I'm going to keep to single ingredient, try my best to eat single ingredient foods. I'm going to try my best. Nobody's perfect. And at the end of the day, I'm not perfect, but I try to live by my intentions. And my intentions are to be healthier, to be happier, to be more social in 2025, and to build up the 5 Foot Strong podcast and mindset, fitness, and wellness, which is my in-home and virtual personal training business, which my virtual personal training business is available to anybody in North America or around the world. And I can train you. I could start you and get you going on your 2025 fitness goals. Just go to www.jessicagerlock.com and you can contact me there, and there's some information about virtual personal training as well. Anyways, I want to talk to you also. We are in the middle of winter. This episode does come out on January 22nd, but I believe January 20th is Blue Monday, which is said to be the most depressing day of the year. And I kind of don't like that because it's setting the wrong intention, And I understand, especially here in Canada, there's not a lot of sunshine. It's very dark outside. It gets dark really early. But if you change your mindset to, a more positive attitude in life and a more optimistic viewpoint, then January 20th is not Blue Monday. Then it's every other day. And you have the choice to wake up in the morning and have a positive outlook on life and be strong and be resilient towards the day, whatever gets thrown at you. Because, whether it be January 20th or, June 20th, the life throws things at you when you least expect it. And again, it's about that mental strength, that it is important not just to focus this year on your physical strength, but focus on your mental strength as well. It's about that mindset is everything perspective of not just realizing, not being not grateful, not blessed, realize what you have and practice gratitude. I think practicing gratitude, I know it sounds a little cheesy and stuff, but I think it really helps with mental strength. And I think a strong mind equals a strong body. So I think the mental strength is, personally, I think that is something to focus on more even and prioritize more than your physical strength. Because, as I said before, a strong mind equals a strong body. Before I end this first episode, I want to give you guys the top 3 groups to focus on in 2025 and really break it down when it comes to your physical and mental health. There's the big 2, which is your physical health, is your fitness, your body, move more, work out more, walk those 10,000 steps, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be a long thing. Just try to move your body. Try to take your health in your hands. I think that's really important. Second one is your mental strength. I think it's important to just put mental strength by itself and realize whether you do need help, whether you need a therapist, whether you need to talk to friends more, whether you need to, work on journaling, whether you need to work on meditation, whether you need to work on mindfulness. I think there are so many ways to improve your mental strength, and in these hard times that people are dealing with regular life stuff, I think it's important to focus fully on your mental strength. So I think, prioritizing your mental strength for 2025 is a really important group. And nothing specific, or, it could be as fast as 5 minutes a day of mindfulness, or, it could be, an hour therapy session a week, whatever it may be. Just realize that we need to focus a lot of our mental strength because, events in this world, we live in a crazy world right now. Things happen all the time. It impacts our mindset, and to focus more on our mental strength is really important. The third one is also focusing on our social. Is like, we dealt with COVID. COVID was really hard on the average person's social abilities to talk to one another. But I think that community brings each other together. And I think that even this podcast, bringing, all you guys listeners together, and it adds positivity in knowing that we're not alone. And know that nobody is alone, because thinking you're alone will impact your mental strength, and it will impact your physical strength. So working on, your social skills, working on, going out, finding people who are interested in the same things as you, maybe a running group, maybe a bowling league, maybe, a Zumba class, whatever it may be. Move your body, talk to people, and focus on your mental strength, and you'll have a better 2025, a much stronger one. So I think that's where I want to end today. I want to thank you all again for listening to the 5 Foot Strong podcast. Again, we're going to have great guests on talking about their journeys of strength this season. I'm going to come back on, talk to you about also how we can prioritize your mental and physical health for 2025. And again, just realize that we're all going through something. And if we could be kinder to one another, it's really important as well. Again, my heart is with California. I will be back to Malibu surfing those waves, and I can't wait. And again, everybody stay strong, one foot in front of the other. And remember, whether you're 5 feet tall like me or 7 feet tall, we are all 5 foot strong in our own unique and beautiful ways. Have a great day.